May the 17th, 1998, and an incredible 200,000 people line the streets of the capital to acclaim the Hearts squad who had brought the Scottish Cup home for the first time in 42 years. The scenes will live forever in the memories of those who sang their hearts out that sunny Sunday afternoon, just as many of them had done in the Cup final victory over Rangers 24 hours before. But the seeds for that famous triumph and an unforgettable season had been sown by Jim Jeffries 10 months before.
So this year at the pre-season training, we just knew what the target was. You know, we more or less had the players. We just maybe added Thomas Fluger to the squad, and we felt that we emphasised that it was about consistency this year. And if we could get that, I'm sure that we were going to go and have a good season, because obviously the players had been that wee bit longer together. We built a side, the balance is right, and you have to have your experienced players, we know that. But you know, the good thing is that in the modern game now, you need the mobility and the pace throughout the team, and that was a thing that we were conscious of, that Hearts maybe hadn't had that for a few years. A lot of good players coming to the end of their career, and now it was a case of introducing youngsters who were good enough, and also when we signed people like Cameron, McCann, Weir, all quick players that would just inject that wee bit of pace which we felt was needed for to be successful.
Hearts' first home match in the Bells Premier League was against Aberdeen. They could hardly have been any more impressive, beating traditionally difficult opponents by 4-1.
It was one of the spells that we've shown this year, that in that spell we've been breathtaking, and we scored 3 great goals in a period of 20 minutes, and we just went on, and that settled us down.
Robertson against Stilley. Ball breaks for him. This could be another one here. Cameron. Oh, great saving challenge there. Well, this game almost turned on its head. The fans still roaring, Hearts on. The ball through for Fulton. 2 goals in a minute for Hearts. Steve Fulton. Play in the end by Poynton. This is Frill. Oh, well left by Robertson. Cameron. This is remarkable stuff now. Fulton intercepts. Now for Stefan Adam. And scored by Thomas Fluger.
A week before the thrashing of the Dons, Hearts had made the short journey to Livingston for their opening Coca-Cola Cup tie. Neil McCann was the man who got the fans talking.
I scored not only 2 goals, but 2 with the head as well. Which is good. It's not something that I do regularly. I usually leave that to like Big Hammy and people like them. But yeah, I was very pleased with
Hamilton brings the ball down. Crossing chance for Frail. Colin Cameron was there, and it's in from Neil McCann. He doesn't score too many headers, Neil McCann, but that's a really valuable one for Hearts. Here's Poynton. Now can Hearts inject a bit more urgency, a bit more flair into proceedings. Here's Steve Frail again, and another header! And again it's Neil McCann. Well, he doesn't score too many, he's just scored 2 in not much more than a minute.
But then a league defeat at East End Park brought the Jambos back to earth. And then it was Easter Road for the first derby of the season. The hero, once again, was that man McCann.
Cameron alongside him, tackled by Charnley. Here, clever ball forward, looking for Cameron. Neil McCann! He scored! 7 minutes gone, and Neil McCann has given Hearts the lead.
The Hibs were flying, they got a good start to the season, and then, you know, they said, well, this is their chance now, and Hearts are struggling, and we felt all week that Hibs would be, everybody, all the pressure was on the Hearts, and we had to stand up and be counted. And that day I thought 1-0 flattered Hibs, and we actually played extremely well. From there we've never looked back.
Beautifully constructed goal by Hearts.
To score in a derby is very special, and I scored in the win previous to that as well. But that goal was good for myself, and we kind of thought of a wee celebration today, and it's still running, I think.
Hughes was taken out by Cameron.
It was a match winner. I mean, you know, and he can. I mean, he's like all wingers, and especially a young winger, and a bit inconsistent. But he's found a lot of consistency this year, and I think some of the spells in the game, at any time in the game, he's liable to win you or get a crucial goal. And 13 goals I think he's got this year, which is marvellous for a white man.
There was a gala atmosphere at Tynecastle in mid-September with the opening of the impressive new Gorgie Road stand. Dundee United were the visitors, and Jim Jeffries was taking nothing for granted.
We opened a new stand, and I think all the talk that week was about the last time they opened a new stand. It was Hibs here, and I think they lost, and you know, we're a wee bit concerned, apprehensive about it, but we got the result, and it was another hard-fought game, which, as I say, Dundee United always are. But it was great, and you know, the incentive there was to win that and go top of the league.
And Hearts duly leapfrogged their capital rivals Hibs to go to the top of the league, going ahead when Jim Hamilton's cross was knocked into his own net by Stephen Presley. 1-0 to Hearts, and although United equalised, Hearts got the winner they richly deserved in the second half. Neil McCann, who was in such good early season form, was the man who engineered it. The right-wing cross, a glancing header, and John Robertson the scorer. But the little man wasn't guaranteed a first-team place this season.
It's very frustrating, there's no doubt about that, but you can't fault the manager for not playing other players. I mean, you try and, you know, the manager asked for consistency. That was the key word this season. He knew we had the ability, we knew we had the players. It was the consistency of performance we required, and we were getting that. And once a manager gets that, it doesn't matter who's playing. It doesn't matter if you're an established internationalist, if you're a YTS kid. If you're playing in that position, you're playing well and the team's winning. It's very difficult for the manager to change it, and that was the situation this year. I had no beef with it. It was, you know, obviously you wanted to go in and play well, and at times myself and Thomas and other lads like Dave McPherson and Alan McMahon did go in and play well, but the manager obviously reverted to the tried and trusted people, and that is the way forward. It's proved with the results. We have come in and done the task when required, but that's all part of the team spirit, that's all part of the squad system, so to speak, and it's worked for us, there's no doubt about that. Frustrating, yes, but it's all part and parcel of the game.
There's spells in games that have been unbelievable, and I think if you look at the Kilmarnock game, first 20-25 minutes, they just couldn't. I mean, who are a good side and had a good season, but they just couldn't contain us, and I think 3-0 flattered them at half-time.
I scored down at Kilmarnock early on. There's a story to that one as well. I can't remember who took the corner, but I got a header, and it was just at the near post, and I thought the keeper had saved it, so I was just running back, and you know, all these guys were jumping on me, and I was just, what are you doing? I've got to get back here for the goal kick, or the keeper's kick, but they told me it went in, and I had no idea it went in at all.
It was a good build-up, and Neil Poynton, great ball up to Stefan Adam, who had a great first touch. And Jim Hamilton, from at least 20 yards out, not known for his right foot shots, drilled one low in the corner. It was a great move and a great finish.
We were scoring goals against teams, we were looking comfortable, we were winning comfortably, and we didn't really see it coming to an end. We seemed to be scoring goals for fun. I can remember games when we were 3-0 up after half an hour and things like that, you know, and it was probably coming a little bit too easy to us.
That 20-25 minute spell is what happened at Motherwell as well. This team's couldn't contain us, and so it was good that, you know, again, just did nothing but build up the belief and the confidence in the side.
By Ritchie for Poynton. That's for Stefan Adam. It's a good ball too from Poynton. Away from Brian Martin, squares it to Colin Campbell. 6 minutes gone, and Hearts are in front. Weir for Hamilton. Denham missed his kick. And onside is Stefan Adam. Great chance for number 2. And a great piece of finishing from the Frenchman. Hearts firmly in control. Jim Jeffries celebrates. And this with Colin Cameron in behind him. for Hamilton. He's got time, knocks it down, and Neil McCann scores! Number 3 for Hearts. They're running away with this. 20 minutes gone. Finds Malakani. One back by Cameron. Break on here for Hearts. Fulton alongside him. And this is Jim Hamilton. A chance for Hamilton. Number 4 for Hearts. Brilliant finishing from Hamilton. And Hearts back in control.
Autumn was proving to be a golden spell for Hearts, and John Robertson celebrated his 500th appearance for the club at the beginning of November. The performance was entirely fitting for Robbo's special anniversary.
Well, that pleased me. The crowds were coming back. There was a big demand for people coming to games because the team was playing a great, exciting brand of football and totally committed to going forward. And defensively, it wasn't a case of where we were losing goals or at the other end. We were scoring goals, but that second half performance at Pittodrie was probably one of the best away performances of the season, definitely. As far as 45 minutes was concerned in the second half, we just totally ran over the top of them after giving them a goal at the start. Somebody, I think it was Paul Sturrock, says to me, the difference between Hearts and the other clubs is obviously with the Old Firm, we can score goals from 5 areas. We've got 5 people looking to score, whereas most teams have one. Even they said one. See, I've got 1.5. You know, so if you've got that threat from different areas of the park, then you become very dangerous. And Wim Jansen says to us, they're a team that when they make chances, they take a very high percentage of them, and again, that will help to add confidence to us.
Earlier that week, Neil McCann had contributed one of the season's outstanding goals in a 3-1 win over Dunfermline at Tynecastle.
Well, that was again what we've been around for this year. Good build-up play and great round about the box. A good movement, took the 1-2, and as close as you like, placed it past Eden Swatter. Great, as I say, great footballing goal and a very, very top-class finish.
Hearts moved a point clear at the top of the table with a 2-0 derby win over Hibs. John Robertson took his goals total to an astonishing 269 in 501 games, 26 of them against Hibs.
I remember the game because the week before Jim Hamilton played extremely well at Dunfermline, and I had to pull myself, look, Robbo's record and that, I thought you were man of the match last week, but you only have to sit on Saturday because the balance their side is right. And that was proved right because he come up with the first goal, and obviously with Simon Hazy around about that time he'd come on and finished them off, and yeah, it was great because, as I say, the supporters always love a victory, but John, he just can't take his record away for especially, as I say, Hibernian, and I think that's what's endeared him to the support over the years. It's that record he's got against the biggest rivals.
One of the keys to the club's success this season was certainly the terrific team spirit. The Tynecastle dressing room was a happy one, something all the players appreciate.
I think it's very important for the team spirit in that, when you've got characters like Gary Walker, a bit of Joker in that, and throughout like Stevie Fulton, and I think you've got to have that in the mix with the seriousness to go into the games. But as I say, we've got a good blend of that kind of coming into the team, which is good for us.
There's not many clubs that say they don't have a team spirit. Football players in general do have it. There's an ambience between them, and when you get together, it's like an asylum. It's the uncommitted asylum people, the boys that just, the pranks that go on, the general chit chat during the day, and the way you run things. It's crazy. It is a crazy world, and all football clubs have it.
To get the best out of them, you have to have a place where they enjoy coming, enjoy the training side of it. Because some certain training things can be boring. We don't dwell too long on that. We make it enjoyable. Players like doing it, so we look forward to coming here. Fantastic dressing room, real character. I mean, Jose Quitongo, since he's come to the club, is just, players love him.
I think it's definitely the spirit, because for people like me, I'm a foreigner, and when you arrive in a new country, new culture, new language, it's difficult. But the lads was very, very friendly with me. The manager, the coach, the players, but everybody was friendly and helped me to have a good adaptation. The fans was brilliant as well, and I think this is the key of the success for Hearts.
They catch on quite quick, and they get to learn all the words you'd expect them to learn first pretty quickly. Like Stefan and Big Gilles has been here for a wee while, so he's also a kind of old hand at it. But like Stefano and Stefan Adam and Thomas Flogo have all come in pretty quick to the scene, and they have their jokes as well.
We were on the restaurant, the Hearts restaurant, and I was on the table, and Jim Hamilton said, asked to me, "Any ginger? What is ginger? Hey, ginger, give me a ginger," about a drink, you know, but it was a strange word sometimes.
But even a happy and successful team need a few breaks along the way. Hearts made it 9 wins out of the last 10 in the league when St Johnstone came to Tynecastle, but they left it late.
Will try again. Good ball in this time. And there's the opening goal for Thomas Flogo. A huge cheer goes round Tynecastle. And there's a lot of relief in that reaction. McCann's cross. 3 went for it, and it came off the hand of Kernaghan. Penalty kick, which Colin Cameron will take. It's 2 minutes into stoppage time. This is real pressure. This is real responsibility for Cameron. This to win the game. And Cameron does it! His 5th goal of the season, and it's a vital one. It keeps Hearts' winning run going, and it keeps them at the top of the league.
Kilmarnock were the next visitors to Tynecastle for what would become one of the most incredible matches of the season. Pat Nevin put the visitors in front, but then both teams went goal crazy.
Well, for a neutral supporter coming in to watch a game of football, that would certainly bring you back again. And for Bobby Williamson and myself, our point of view was that, you know, we had nightmares about our defence on both occasions, but it was end to end, and you know, if you were telling me that we're going to win 5-3 every week, I would probably take it, because you just can't get any better entertainment than that day. Fabulous game. I remember it went to a Sunday because of, I think, the Rugby International Saturday. They had a good crowd, and it was a great day for football. And you had 2 teams that from the very outset just went hammer and tongue at each other. Some great chances, some great football play for both teams, and there's no doubt if you had to say that what was one of the most enjoyable games, you know, from a spectating point of view, it was definitely a Kilmarnock game, a fabulous game to be involved with.
I think it was just one of the most open games all season. Kilmarnock scored 3 against us, and we just beat them by scoring 5. But it was just so open. The game was flowing from end to end. It was a great game to watch for the neutrals, I'd expect, and we were just happy to come out on top.
It was an important game for me. I was very, very confident before the game and ambitious. And the story was brilliant after, because it was my first hat-trick in Scotland. And the game was very, I think, a great game, because the suspense was terrible. The first goal from Kilmarnock, we take an advantage, and they came back, you know. And I think it was a great day for the team, for the fans as well. And it was the start of a good story for the club.
Defensively, you always question that, but I suppose that the best form in the defence is attack anyway, so it worked out all right in the end.
Stefan Adam duly completed his hat-trick, Thomas Flogo setting up the chance. Davy Weir was adjudged to have pulled down Mark Roberts. The Kilmarnock player duly made it 4-2 from the penalty spot. And then Adam set up Hearts' fifth in an amazing match.
He'd scored a hat-trick and then got a great opportunity to score his fourth goal. Now, a lot of players would have tried to, knowing that the game was probably won, that Jose Coutinho came on a sub and he just put it into his path for him to finish.
November had been a significant month for Hearts. A run of 4 successive victories kept them clear at the top of the table. But then, after a win over Motherwell and a draw at Dundee United, defeats in successive weeks before Christmas to Celtic and then Rangers dented Tynecastle confidence. Yet Jim Jeffries, for all his disappointment at losing out to the Old Firm, still felt that his players had plenty to be proud of.
You know, okay, we've been beaten with Old Firm and it's a bit of a knock, and now you'll have people saying we'll fall away. It's how we react now. What we got to... And I remember taking one to the training field and saying, well, what have we got to be down about? Would you take in this position at this time, the start of the season? When we looked at all the positive signs, it was only I think it was only our second defeat or something in a number of games. It's about how we bounce back now. If we, next time we play Rangers and Celtic, if we're in the same position, and I think if you look back at the league, we were actually, they became big games for Rangers and Celtic. If they hadn't beaten us, we would have had a bit of a gap on them. Right. So there were big games, and now we had to make sure that the next time we came round, we handled everybody else well. So make sure we now continue to do that, so that next time Rangers and Celtic come round, we'd be in a position to say, right, there'll be meaningful games.
Hearts got back in the rails in their last match of 1997 thanks to dazzling skills by Jose Coutinho, who set up the chance for Jim Hamilton to head Hearts in front. Then Ian Westwater panned the ball into his own net in bizarre fashion to make it 2-0. Hearts' third, by Stefano Salvatore, was a little more spectacular.
He always gets a bit of ribbon for the goals he never seems to score even in training. And Billy's always on at him, and he finished off a tremendous goal, tremendous strike for the G box. I was on my way to congratulate. I think Billy was practicing kissing Salvatore before he came over, so I got it, I think.
The affectionate Italian is, of course, just one of a group of foreign players who have contributed so much to the team. So what is the secret of their successful integration with the home Scots?
When we get foreigners over here, the first thing that, when we take them down, you just need to take them down Princess Street and have a look at that. They find the people extremely friendly in Scotland. And it's just a different, just something that they never imagined, and they've all taken to the place, and their families find it easy to settle. So that's a big plus for us. But obviously the ambitions of the club are important, and we try and sell that well to them, and it's just about bringing them and making them feel part of it and helping them to settle down and always being there if there's a problem.
4 goals to 2. Stefan Adam got the 4th just a couple of minutes.
Stefan Adam is a player who works very hard for the team. Tremendous ability at timing his run and getting in behind defences. Plays on the shoulder people at the back, and therefore a great opportunity, a great out, and we can have it into feet if Robbo plays or Jim Hamilton. But anything over the top, then that's where Stefan Adam comes into his own. As seasons went on, people have said that he's not a finisher. We happen to think he's maybe been a wee bit unlucky, or he's done a lot more setting up for people to cash in on. He's a team player, and a big hit for us this year. The way that his touch and movement is excellent. Great finisher from difficult situations. He was renowned in the early part of the season for anything coming, his hitch kick, overhead kicks, everything seemed to fly into net for Thomas. And great striker ball, good feet, very good mare, and brave. But obviously you would say to yourself, well, why didn't he play more often? And I think he, obviously, in the culture of the different football is, we get time and space, and the game's a bit slower. But up in Scotland, the hurly-burly, but it took time to adjust. And, we think he'll be an important player for us next year. Very, very gifted player, and as I say, one of the best I've ever worked with.
1998 began in traditional fashion, but Hearts weren't happy with a 2-2 draw against their old rivals in the New Year derby.
The left foot of his. Robertson is so foxy in these situations. Fulton's header! Hearts have got the goal! And Hibs are behind, and we've only had 5 minutes. Lock. Robertson touching it off to the goal scorer, Steve Fulton. He's got 4 forward ahead of him. Robertson looking for Fulton again. He's still going. Fulton, he's got another one. 10 minutes gone. 2-0. Steve Fulton scored them both.
Up. The points were important, not the. We became, you know, saying, well, we're at the top of the league, and this is another 3 great points. And when you do that, you tend to go into a wee bit of your shell. And as I say, we paid the penalty for that.
2-goal Fulton, excellent performance. I think deserves the man of the match.
In midfield, Stevie Fulton, his vision, his passion's been there for all to see. He worked very hard in the summer, came back very fit, and it's benefited his game. It's not made him a better player, because the ability has always been there.
The ability's never changed. He's getting old. He was back challenging. He was making forward runs. I think he's got something like 6-7 goals for the middle of the park. And in that game, he made 2 great runs beyond the defence and 2 great finishes. So, but he's had a marvellous season.
After Steve Fulton really threatened to steal the show totally in the first 10 minutes with 2 excellently taken goals by the midfield man. It was all sweetness and light for Jim Jeffries and company.
Him and Colin and Salvatore in the midfield have been magnificent, and I think if you had to pick any of the 3, it would have to be Stevie, who's worked really hard last season, and you can see by the way he's playing this season that if he plays, the team plays, and I think that's the biggest difference.
It would be another 11 days before Hearts continued their championship challenge in Perth. The management team took advantage of the short break to take the squad off to Portugal, but not for a holiday.
What we did was we intended to go for a break. We just felt that time of the season to go. We had fantastic facilities out at Barrington's in Portugal and the Algarve, and excellent training facility. We just shut away, but we treated it not like a break in terms of relaxing and golf and everything. We actually treated it as if it was a sort of mini pre-season, if you like, to recharge us and get us going and show the determination that we're not going to give in, we're not going to fall away. So we worked the players extremely hard on fitness level that break, and they were very surprised about that, because I think they thought they were swanning about for a holiday. We got a lot out of that trip as well, because young Gary Naismith, we were disappointed that, you know, after coming into the first team the year before, we knew that we were going to need him because of Neil Point and the start of the suspension, and we felt that, you know, he's the one that should have been pushing, and we were disappointed with his level of performance at that time. So whether we were with him over there, and he come back, and what a way to repair some.
Now down, Hamilton in the centre, thrown by Cameron, Weir's cross, and Hamilton, the man who seems to enjoy playing here and has exacted some sort of revenge for some treatment he was getting earlier in the game. Hearts take the lead, and Jim Hamilton is the scorer. Hearts have got 3 in the middle. That was nearly Hamilton again. Oh, and it is from Naismith. That's an absolute cracker. Well, no wonder they go to the youngster. Fulton for Hamilton. Can they get back in front? Hamilton has done it from a tight angle. Hearts regain the lead. Second of the game for Jim Hamilton.
Yeah, and a brilliant pass from Stephen Fulton, a good finish.
Another twist to the tail here.
The victory took Hearts back into second place, just 1 point behind Rangers. Then, after drawing at Kilmarnock, came one of the best displays of the season against Dundee United at Tynecastle.
Long one through now, looking for Cameron. Oh, and he takes advantage! Colin Cameron after 29 minutes. It was a mistake by Maurice Malpas. It looked as though the chance had gone, but Cameron did ever so well to pick up his 7th goal of the season. Fulton it was who sent it forward. It's a risky ball by Presley. They could be punished here. It's Cameron. Adam's going in a run as well, taking defenders with him. Still it's Cameron. Still Cameron! 79 minutes gone. A brilliant finish again by Colin Cameron. Showed great composure. And a calm finish, his 2nd goal of the match, and that means 2-0 to Hearts.
Actually, I think we doubled the bonus that day. That's how important we felt that game was. It was a big game to come back, and obviously being at home the last time, I think it was the game before the league game was the Rangers, but good performance on a good game again, back end-to-end stuff. But Colin Cameron scored 2 exceptional goals that day, and the game will be remembered for that.
Colin Cameron, who I think is one of the major players for this club in respect to the position he plays, he's always first to reach the forwards. He's first to offer support to us. You can play it first time, you can take a couple of touches. Mickey's always there, unselfish runs and a good goal scorer.
So good at getting into the box and making it count. Colin Cameron pulls the goal back for Hearts.
Into February, and after Rangers dropped a point to Dunfermline the day before, Hearts and Celtic both had the chance to take advantage when they met on the Sunday afternoon at Tynecastle. The 1-1 draw felt like a victory for Hearts after a dramatic late equaliser.
He stabbed it through. Great reaction from Goulden. He's under pressure again. And another good save this time from Naismith.
Celtic were a better side. There isn't any doubt about that. They're a better side, missed their chances, and then you've got to say, well, don't let them away with it. They got themselves in front, chance to kill us off, didn't, and then wee Jose came up with, I think, that just sent it. I've never seen Tynecastle like that.
The referee has checked his watch. We've played 2 minutes of stoppage time here at Tynecastle. It's Katongo. Can Hearts even things out at the top of the championship race? And the ball just beyond Weir, but still Hearts have it through Hamilton. Katongo's there. Twisting and turning, there's a chance on there for McCann. Katongo! Jose Katongo for Hearts! More than 2 minutes into stoppage time. And look at the delight among the Hearts players and the supporters. What a dramatic end here at Tynecastle. Jim Jeffries can't quite believe it. Almost 3 minutes of stoppage time gone. Well, it looked as though Celtic were just about home and dry. It looked as though the chance had gone for Hearts. It was picked up there by Hamilton. He swept it in. Katongo got a touch on it. Twisting and turning there. McCann had an effort. And then Katongo, with the help of the deflection, makes it Hearts 1, Celtic 1. This championship looks as though it might go to the wire.
The performance was okay, but to score at such a late stage in the game, and the scenes of the Jose going to the corner and the fans coming on, it was quite a special game as well, because it kept the season alive for us.
The first one that reacted to me was Paul Ritchie, and he was about 20-30 yards onto the pitch. So when he's going like this, I'm saying, well, I'm just headed for him, and then suddenly realised about 20 yards on the pitch, I better get off here. But it was just just one of these things that, there's nothing better, I don't think, for any manager than seeing his team score a goal. I mean, if it's in that circumstances, it's even more elating. But any time I like to see the team score.
Jim Jeffries' dance of delight maybe contributed to a back injury though, and the manager was missing when Billy Brown took the team to Fir Park. But the phone lines between Lauder and Motherwell were red hot.
I was in constant touch with Chris Robinson for the director's box, and when I heard they were 2-0 down, I said, Jesus, here we go. I felt like getting out of bed and getting there, and I think Jim Hamilton had said that they realised, that I could have been there at half-time if they didn't do something about it. But I think Jim got us back in the game very quick. A great header. I've seen it on the box, and just as the news was falling through, I knew when they got back to 2-2 they would take some stopping, and it turned out to be first-class performance again at a difficult place.
Steve Fulton desperate to get on with it. That's a good header from Jim Hamilton. And immediately Hearts pull one back. 6 minutes to the interval. And that's Jim Hamilton's 10th goal of the season, the Hearts top scorer. A well-timed header, and Stevie Woods had not earthly. That's lost in the middle by Motherwell. Now David Weir. Adam is on the outside, Jim Hamilton's through the middle, it runs for Cameron. Saved by Woods, and Jim Hamilton scores! That's the equaliser, Hamilton's second, and Hearts are back in business. It looked as if Steve Woods had it, and then he lost it. And Jim Hamilton wasn't hanging about here when the ball came free, tucked into the net. So that's number 11 of the season now for Jim Hamilton. He's so sharp in these situations that Steve Woods will wonder why he didn't hold on to that. Cameron continuing his run through the middle. Adam on the ball. Away from Newman. That's a clever ball in! And Fulton! Hearts are ahead! It's been an incredible spell from them. It's a stray pass, which Neil McCann will seize on. What can he do here? He's past Martin. And Stefan Adam seals the points for Hearts. Careful to keep himself onside. And applying the final touch to Neil McCann's cross. Perfectly set up, perfectly finished. And Hearts' comeback is complete.
Three I've scored at Fir Park this year, and they've all been good goals because they've been important goals, especially the one when we were down 2-0 in the 4-2 game. The one just before half-time was an important goal, probably the most important goal of the season. It's because we were struggling at the time, and to go 2-0 down, we had to get one before half-time, and it probably lifted the boys for the second half, and the performance in the second half was brilliant.
The partnership between the two old school friends and teammates is a close one. They have enjoyed increasing success since they started in management at Berwick and then moved on to Brockville.
When I got the Falkirk job, we did it together. He had to give up his full-time employment, so it was a big decision for him. But we went there and had a success, so it was just like you say. We both have the same ideas. He knows the buck stops with me, I've got the final say. But we discuss things, and we discuss what we're going to do at training. And just the same as we're going to look at players and look at opponents. We both do it, and we both trust each other that when we come back that they say, well, he's worth having a look at, or if it's a player, or I'm going to make the final decision, or if it's a team, we talk over the report of the game. If I'm Kenny manager, I think if you're not sure yourself, and everybody manager will be honest enough to say, well, I have a wee doubt about that, so I'll go with Billy, because you know. But if I don't think it's right, and I've got the gut feeling myself, Billy's always said to me, what's your gut feeling on this one? He says, it's never been wrong so far, so go with it. And he often tells me, he says, he's got that Midas touch at times, you know. He says, I would have done this, and it's come off, and that's how it is. You've got to go with your instinct and then change it. But we do work together as a pair, and any success I've had is as much to do with Billy as anybody else.
I've been with them for a while, and they haven't changed at all since they were at Falkirk. You know, they're still the same. They still demand the same off you, and they still want to win every game, which obviously helps the players. You know, you can never afford to rest on your laurels with those two.
There's occasions in games where the boys do deserve the proverbial kick up the backside, and they're no slow in giving it out, dishing it out. Billy to start with, and the gaffer has his bit, so it's not just coming through one, it's coming through both barrels. So although you maybe get away with from one of them, the next one comes in and catches you with the second lot. So there's been a few heated discussions at half-time and 90 minutes throughout the season. I think the boys have retaliated well from that, and they've reacted well from that, and they go out and prove such times second half games, if we've not done so well in the first half, that we pull our socks up and we go out and we can play a bit.
Now Hearts were locked in a three-way tie for the lead and kept up their challenge with an impressive win over Aberdeen.
It was a good game. We scored very early on. Jim Hamilton goal very early. And then Aberdeen had good spells, got back on other times, but then Naismith came up with one of the goals of the season.
That was a very important game for us. It was a big match. The way the league was going, we knew we couldn't afford to drop any points, and we knew we'd have Aberdeen well organised when they came down. But in the second half, we managed to get two other goals, and I scored another one in my head, which was another strange one. But as I say, we got the result needed that night, which was an important one.
It turned out to be a smashing match, great result, and I think everybody got away believing that Hearts could keep up the challenge that night, I think.
3 days later, it was yet another so-called title decider against Rangers at Ibrox. Hearts opened the scoring and never looked like losing, but victory over one of the old firm was still proving elusive.
Weir into space, mopped up by Bjorklund. That's a loose one from Andy Gorham, and Neil McCann gives Hearts the lead. 31 minutes gone, a blunder by Andy Gorham, and what a boost that is for Hearts. They've had very little in an attacking sense. Possibly Bjorklund might not have played that ball back to his goalkeeper. Andy Gorham presented the ball to Neil McCann, but he placed it beyond the Rangers goalkeeper. It's 1-0 Hearts. McCann to Locke. Gary Locke keeping that in. Stefan Adam! And Jim Hamilton scores for Hearts. Again, defensive frailty from Rangers, and it's punished by Hearts. Jim Hamilton, 4 goals in 3 games, and 14 minutes from time, Hearts retake the lead.
It was a good performance and one that really pleased us, and as I say, I thought victory was snatched from us there, and you know, Albert's a couple of deflections, especially in the last minute, was a sickener, but we definitely deserved to win it. You know, I remember in the dressing room after it as well, you know, how far we'd come when we were sitting there with the heads down, having got a point at Ibrox.
We all felt that we should have won that match, and to lose our goal so late was a nightmare for us. But it's just one of the things. I mean, we didn't beat them at all this season, but we weren't far behind them. So hopefully we can take that into next season. There'll be a wee bit of pressure on us because people will be expecting us to be up that end of the table. But if we can continue our consistency in the other games, and then obviously take points off the Old Firm, then hopefully we'll sustain our challenge next season and maybe with a bit of luck go all the way.
Hearts then dropped a crucial point to Kilmarnock before heading to Tannadice, where victory had always been hard to come by until that March afternoon.
I have to say that the Tannadice performance, particularly in the first half that day, was, in terms of our organisation and the willingness all around the pitch to work that day and press the game and close people down and then use the ball as well as we did. We played the game at a very high tempo.
We had gone so long without winning at Tannadice, and there was a bit of pressure on us because we had not done so well the week before, and the performance was brilliant, and the goal capped the performance off. So it was nice to get the winner there.
Well, and a good pass for Jose Kitongo. Loose pass from Grant Murray. It's won back by Fulton. Neil McCann chips it over the top for Hamilton. Jim Hamilton! Hearts have the lead! 8 minutes gone! And Jim Hamilton's golden spell continues. 6 goals in 6 games now. The Hearts fans celebrate. And this was a superb piece of finishing from Jim Hamilton.
Fantastic finishing. I thought we deserved to win that day by a lot more than 1-0, and one of the top 3 performances of the season for me. I always said to them, we've not got a good record. This is the toughest place, one of the toughest places to come. We've just come out here, we've beaten them 1-0, but we've played them off the park. And now, if that doesn't give you belief that you can go in and win the league, because that set us up nicely for Parkhead the following week, now they better start to believe it, because a lot of them, in fact, I don't think anybody fancies you to get anything up here today, far less the way that we won the game. And I thought that would be the day that we could believe that we could again still be in there.
So Hearts' confidence was high as they headed for Celtic Park, and another match whose outcome would have a vital bearing on the championship race.
We stamped our authority in the game, and Celtic okay, had wee spells and things like that, but I thought it was a better result for us than them. But one, again, we were a wee bit disappointed that we felt we could have won it that day, but 2 difficult matches away from home. We got 4 out of the 6 with Tannadice and Parkhead, and we didn't concede any goals. So another big step forward towards heading for the end of the season.
It'd be easy for the strikers and midfielders to get all the publicity and that, but I think the defence has been really good this season, particularly David Weir and Paul Ritchie. They've formed a great partnership in the centre of defence. But we've also had Big Shields on goals, and Roddy McKenzie, when he's came in, has done great. But we've had a couple of players in either positions of the full-backs. Like Neil Point was playing great at the start of the season until he got suspension. And then young Gary came in and showed everybody what he's capable of. And also he proved that through the season. He got voted Young Player of the Year, which topped it all off for him. And then the other side with Alan McManus was playing great at the start of the season. Unfortunately he dropped out, and Gary Watt came in, who done great also, and then he got injured, which is unfortunate for himself. But Big David Weir, David McPherson's came in at full-back and done great, and young Grant Murray had played a couple of games, which is also very good.
David Weir, Paul Ritchie at the back, the 2 of them have formed a great partnership. Obviously Davy's in the Scotland squad now, and Big Paul's a few B caps.
Without doubt, the 2 central defenders, David Weir and Paul Ritchie, have been magnificent. They've actually blended in perfectly together, left foot, right foot. Both very solid in the air, good tacklers. Davy probably a wee bit more comfortable than Paul on the ball and sets most of the attacks up. And I think it's a testimony to their partnership that the manager brought Dave McPherson back in to play central defence, but then decided to stick with the 2 and put Davy to right back because of the partnership they'd formed. Those 2 were really the cornerstone.
We're cavalier and we go forward and we leave ourselves short at the back on occasions, and there's nothing you can do about that. But I think if you go out and you win the game, no matter what the scoreline is, the supporters are happy. But as a defender, we'd like to go and try and keep a clean sheet. But as I said, as long as you score more goals than the opponents and you win the game, that's fine.
He's very pacey. He's learning to be more comfortable on the ball. I think he'd say that himself. That's probably the area he's got to improve on the most. But everything else, you know, he's really got the world at his feet. He's got every attribute the modern centre half needs to have.
All 3 contenders were showing signs of nerves as the matches began to run out. Sadly, the sequence of dropped points which finally ended Hearts' championship dream was underway.
As it is, you could see in the delight and the relief when Neil McCann scored, but we sat back. And that's bad enough, but there was a period in that game when we sat back and we won the ball and then gave it away far too easily. I felt we just became a wee bit unprofessional in the last 20 minutes and allowed them to get the goal, which I thought we invited, because we did sit back and gave them far too much room to play, and we should have really... It was a big disappointment. I think that's the one that we were really disappointed about, and that was the start of it, I feel.
We went on, I think, 4 or 5 games without a win, which really killed us off. And it's a bit disappointing seeing how Rangers and Celtic have stumbled across the line at the end. And we knew ourselves that if we'd played to our capabilities throughout the season, for a full season instead of 3 quarters, we'd have had a genuine chance of being league winners.
As it turned out, Rangers and Celtic both dropped points, and it makes you kick your heels a wee bit. That, you know, you say to yourself, well, if we'd just done this and that. But the game's all about ifs and that. Nobody had envisioned how many points the 3 teams with 6 games to go. If you'd said to them that was the total they were going to drop, people would have said, there's no way, not the 3 of them, but as I say, there was very few points gathered in the last 4 or 5 games.
It went a wee bit in the end, but as we've said before, we'd far rather be challenging for the title and losing it in the last 3 or 4 games than not challenging at all.
There's no doubt that people will give us a lot of praise and say we've been good for Scottish football this year, because it's not just a case of winning and that, but I think the style of the way the Hearts have done it has been important this year. That's why the fans keep saying to us, you know, I've never enjoyed a season like this for many a year. I mean, the football has been fantastic. We've scored more goals than we've ever done in a season. We've won more games than we've ever done. We've lost fewer games. All the wee personal little records has been there that we've managed to go through. And we've put a young, exciting side out in the park, and a team that they know that they're a joy to watch.
And of course, the most joyful day of all was still to come. The Tennent's Scottish Cup final against Rangers, and in a season full of wonderful memories, Hearts at last had the trophy for which they had waited so long.
It's a penalty. Would you believe it? 30 seconds gone. Fulton's weaving run brought the
challenge, which Willie Young thought was an offence, and he's pointed to the penalty spot, and what a dramatic start here. And now, more than ever, Rangers will be relying on the experience of Andy Gorham, who's never been beaten in his previous Scottish Cup appearances. But he's been beaten for the first goal of the game, and it's Cameron who's given Hearts a real edge with a penalty in the second minute. And Walker wants to get down and touch with the dugout. And a dam stole in, and it's 2-0. And Amoruso for a moment went to sleep, and Stephen Adam took full advantage. And Hearts now send their supporters into raptures with a real opportunity of winning their first silverware in 36 years. Here now comes 27-year-old Steve Fulton. He's missed only one game this season. He and Gary Locke together lift the trophy that shows that Hearts are bursting with pride in Edinburgh.
Young hearts, run free, never be hung up like my man and me. My man and me. Young hearts, to yourself be true. Don't be no fool. Love really don't love you. Living trouble and strife. My